What is happening, everybody? Jew coming to you with some more comic book reviews. But before I get started on this, yes, I do comic book reviews, trailer reactions, film reactions, updates, stories, things that are happening around some other cool stuff like comic books, movies, and so on and so on. But anyways, we'll go ahead and get started on this comic book review because, I'm overdue with comic books. That's one of the main sources of the channel that was meant to be done. But like I said in the past video, I've been having some issues with getting my comic books on time. So I'm probably going to look for better stores to order from. It's nothing wrong with the store besides delivery dates. That's it. The store has every book on time on that day. On Thursday, or I want to say Wednesday or Thursday, you can already see what the order for next week. But when I make the order on Tuesday, the books don't come until Saturday. Sometimes they don't come until Sunday or Monday. So I'm all over the place. Now there is a nice comic book store that's 20 minutes from here, but I live in Georgia, so there's always a traffic issue and discouragement of traffic for me. If it wasn't for that, I'd be there all the time. But there's some traffic, there's some issues there. But anyways, let's get started on this. So I'm just going to go ahead and start off with Nightclub. Mark Millar. Mark Millar is the writer for this book, and he's going to be the writer for both books. But I finished this book, Nightclub. Nightclub is a vampire book, but it's a different kind of vampire book. It's not like Dracula and all that stuff. And it could be, I would say, more of the Blade style, but not Blade. It's not superhero, but it is superhero, but it's not. Anyways, I finished the series. The series is over. I just read, it don't even say the issue there, but the issue is, I want to say it's 6 issues. It might be 5. I forgot how many issues it is. Don't even say on the book. But the final issue is a little thicker than the other books. The other books are like $1.99. The final issue is $3.99. So it's a little thicker to give you more of an ending story to it. But anyways, just give you a rundown of what I think of the book. First of all, I think it is issue 6. First of all, when I think of it, I was impressed with the storyline. I liked it. It was very entertaining. It was basically about these kids that wanted to, I think I talked about it the last time I did a review on this book. These kids, they wanted to go viral on YouTube. They wanted to be YouTube stars. They were doing tricks on bikes, and they were on top of a roof, and the kid made a mistake, and he did a trick and fell off the roof, and severely injured himself. Severely, like damn near brain dead. Like he's pretty much about to die. Well, in the middle of him at the hospital, a guy shows up, a detective shows up and takes him from the hospital and pretty much saves his life. Not really. He just gives him a second chance, I would say. Not really save his life, but give him a second chance. So basically what this guy did, he told the kid, look, it's over, man. If you want to do this, you can just be brain dead or whatever it is for the rest of your life, or I can help you out. He turned him into a vampire, but he turned him to a good vampire. He turned him to a guy that, and he had an agenda. This detective had an agenda because he was a vampire. He wasn't actually a detective. He used to be a detective, but he became a vampire because he was turned into one. But these vampires were dangerous and wild, and they just were crazy. He decided that's not what he wanted. He did not want that. That's not. So his agenda was to stop those guys. There was a bunch of craziness. They were out there doing some craziness. So he was recruiting. He'll find people to give them a second chance and recruit them and turn them into vampires. So what this kid did, he came back. The kid's like, whoa, it's a miracle you're back. He shows up. He has a mask on because he has to, during the daytime, they have to avoid light from the sun. So he wears like these wrestling masks. So he just used it as like an image. So he has 2 friends. And his 2 friends are not dead. They're not injured. They're not in the hospital. But he just tells them, look, he shows them what he could do, his senses and all of his abilities that he got from this. They thought it was cool. So they decided they want to be vampires too. So what did he do? He gave them the bite. And they became one. So they used it as to help out around, like help the city, at night and stuff like that. And then they were making videos with masks on. This way, they could still try to go viral and blow up and make a lot of YouTube money. At the same time, no one realizes what they are. They're just using their abilities to do cool stuff on video and going viral, and people are like, "What the hell is this?" But then they got caught by the bad guys, the crazies found out about them, and they tried to fight them. And the detective came and got pissed off at them because they were just being a bunch of teenagers, and they were, that's not what I wanted from y'all. And we got to get these guys because these guys are out here doing all this craziness, and those guys are strong. There was a lot of craziness with them. There was a pregnant vampire that was just pregnant forever. They lived hundreds of years, and I don't know. I'm trying not to tell too much, but I am telling a lot because I'm kind of going down, just trying to remember what to break down about it. But it's a good story, and it ended. Again, for some reason I struggle with some of these comic book endings. It did end. It ended in one of those ways where you're like, dude, this could have been done a long time ago. If it was just gonna be like that. That's kind of how I looked at it. But anyways, this is a good series by Mark Millar. Millar. I think it's Millar because it's AR. Millar, the artist is Juana Ramirez, and Nightclub. Very good series. 6 issues from Image Comics. So that's pretty cool. I recommend you go ahead and read that. All right, so I'm starting a new book, but the problem with the new series that I'm starting is that I don't know these characters. And how don't you know your characters when you start a new issue? Does that make any sense to you? Now, the problem is with this is I only know a few of the characters. This is called Big Game by Mark Millar. Again, Mark Millar, but a different artist, Pepe Larraz. So this is a crossover series. This is a series where a combination of Mark Millar's characters are being combined into one book. So basically, the only reason why I got this book because I just finished the book that he wrote, Nemesis. Nemesis is about the crazy guy with the white suit, and he was doing all that crazy in the city, and he was making people do stuff, and he was killing people, and he was just a savage and all this stuff. So apparently, there's other books combined in this, like just books I never read, and they have characters in here. So there's there's like some catch up I do if I want to learn about the characters. But just to give you an idea breakdown of some of the characters, Kick-Ass is in here, Hit Girl, and there's like these other books that I've seen on the shelf that I just honestly I never read them. I never read them. I just you don't get around to read every single book, but back here it just kind of gets you in the mix of things. Kick-Ass, Kingsman, The Magic Order, Huck, Nightclub, The Ambassadors. He's putting all the characters for those books in here. Now, Kick-Ass and Kingsman, I only know them from the movies. I didn't read the comic books. But it showed the guy from Kick-Ass at the end of this book. So the character, the guy, Magic Order. I saw Magic Order on the shelf. Never read that as well. The Ambassadors. I saw that as well. Never read that as well. So it's taking characters. He's making his own universe, basically. He's taking off his villains and stuff. So you got the Ambassadors. I saw that on the shelf. I want to say I don't know if he has. It says Nightclub on here, so it could be possible that he may put the vampires in here. Who knows? We'll find out. So I'll read it. I'll just be blind to some of the characters of their past. Except for the Nemesis and the Nightclub. And a little bit of, if the movie's anything like Kick-Ass, the comics, then I know how they're a little bit, not just enough, But anyways, just to give you a rundown of this book, what they're doing, it's kind of like an intro. It's showing what's going on. All the villains are, I assume all these, because Nemesis is his own standalone. So he's a villain himself, but he's cool as hell too. He's a villain himself. He's cool as hell. Whatever. He's crazy. He's wild. He's just an arrogant bastard. The story in his book shows him back. It even did a flashback of his childhood and why he became that way and whatnot. So these other characters, villains, they're getting together and saying they need to do this because once upon a time there used to be these heroes and they're coming back and we got to stop that. We don't want that publicity of those people. And so these villains are like meeting up with other ones and like we're getting together. So then they're doing a little bit of the same with the good guys, like the ambassadors, and showing the intros, and it's moving from country to country. Like it's here in the U.S. or over here in the Middle East, or we're over here. This is what's going on. It's breaking down storylines of individuals, and I guess it's going to cross function into like a matrix or something. I don't know. Um, and it's pretty cool how he wrote this. He's giving you, if you was to read the other books, you'd probably be more in tune to exactly what's going on, far as like with the characters. Because for me, it's like when they get to the nemesis, I'm like, oh, okay, okay. When they got to kick ass, it's like, oh, I didn't realize that was a part of his universe. But yeah, so it's just breaking down reasons why they're doing this. Why are we collaborating? Why are we getting together? Why are these? And it's going to, I can tell you right now that this is going to be a crazy, crazy book and a crazy story. At the same time, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. The art is good. There's a lot of, this is awesome, you know? So, if too bad, like, I don't know. Maybe in the future there'll be more to popularity, even like on the big screen and stuff with this, with some of this. We, like I said, we already saw the Kingsman and the Kick Ass and stuff like that. So yeah, Nightclub would be awesome too. So the Big Game, issue 1, check it out. Especially if you read the Ambassadors, especially if you read Nemesis and some of the other ones. And yeah, I recommend it. I was tuned in once I started reading this book, and so. But yeah, that's all I got for these 2 comic books, and I will see you on the next one.